All right, guys, use hashtag Cowboys. You know the drill by now. Use the hashtag Cowboys like Seth did here and many others have done already. We'll get it up here. A fantasy question here. Should I start Dak against the Jets or Russell Wilson against the Browns in fantasy? Oh, boy, that's a tough one. You can't really go wrong. I'm actually going to go Dak, though. I like the matchup a little bit more, and I think Dak's going to light up a Jets defense that's been pretty bad so far this year, especially if they don't have one C.J. Mosley at linebacker. Tony W., does anybody know why our defense, Smith, LVE, Tank, Lee, even Jones, are not looking good? A lot of things going on there. I don't have one particular answer. Tank, I think, has actually been fine. I know the sacks aren't there, but the pressures are. So of those guys, Tank doesn't bother me all that much. Byron Jones has been fine in coverage. Had the really bad missed tackle, but we know it. He's not a safety. It's not his role. Sean Lee, he's the fourth best linebacker on this team right now. Joe Thomas should be playing over him. And then Smith and LVE, they're taking the bait. They are falling for play action and misdirection, and it's just getting them offline. And most importantly, the defensive tackles are getting blown off the ball and going way too far upfield and just giving up huge lanes. So there's a lot of different things all going into one, and it's showing in the end result that the defense has not been very good, especially last week against the Green Bay Packers. Mike Fernandez, Tom, how do you feel about Garrett saying he has full confidence in his kicker? I don't view it as a big deal. Like, what else is Jason Garrett going to say? Kicker sucks? Like, not going to do anything there. So I'm not concerned about that at all. That's what I would expect Garrett to say. All right, I'm just him. Would you trade for a run-stuffing defensive lineman or wait for Woods to get healthy? The run defense hasn't been good. It depends on what run-stuffing DT you're going to get. Like, who's out there that you want? I think the biggest issue has been that, A, you've missed Antoine Woods, but Malik Collins has not been great against the run. So if you can find somebody cool, go do it. I think at this point, you might be better off just waiting and seeing how things develop and reevaluating come the offseason. Cowboys Sports, do you think the throws behind Gallup and Cooper affected the game on Sunday? I assume you mean the 2 interceptions, of course. Cooper himself said he has to catch that ball. The majority of that blame goes to Amari on that play. The Gallup one probably shouldn't have been thrown, but also that was clearly defensive, either pass interference or illegal contact by Kevin King. I do think, though, that Kellen Moore, I don't think Kellen Moore used all the creative plays early. Like, we've seen elements that come in pretty much every single week, and you don't need to have a wildly crazy creative offense. I just think you have to use the plays that work well. I think you have to use the early down play action. I want to see more outside runs than to do it against the Packers because, well, your tackles were hurt. That's a big reason why there. I think part of it is a conservative game plan against the Saints and then bad execution against the Packers. I think it's two different root causes there. I know we'd like to have just one thing cause the problems in both games. I don't think that's the case, though. Today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. You will not find a better betting deal out there. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120. All right, orangutan. What's a bigger need, defensive tackle or safety, for the defense to become elite? I think in reality, the defensive tackles have played worse so far. Malik Collins has not had the breakout year that I was optimistic for, both against the run and against the pass. I don't think that's where we're at right now. I think that Jeff Heath has not been great, but he hasn't been as bad as the defensive tackles have been. So at that point, I put more of the blame on the defensive tackle position. All right, David DePaul wants to know, any free agent one-technique defensive tackles we should look at? I got the list up here. I'd have interest in, he might be expensive. Can you get Marcel Darius on the cheap? Two guys, Xavier Williams of the Chiefs, Steve McClendon, are cheaper among the one techniques there. Timmy Jernigan isn't really a one technique. What's A'Shawn Robinson's asking price? What's Jerron Reed's asking price? Can you get Javon Hargrave from the Steelers maybe? It's just some names to keep in mind. We will do a more in-depth look, by the way, once the season actually ends, so make sure you're subscribed. I know David is, but everyone else watching, make sure you're subscribed. TKG, what loss hurt more, Packers or Saints? I think the Packers won because of the way it went. It was so bad for 3 quarters. So bad. Now, what are your thoughts on the little fight between Garrett and the ref? I agree with Jerry Jones. I hope that little darling didn't hear anything he hadn't heard before. Like, imagine being a ref, getting a call wrong, and then flagging the opposing coach because he told you were wrong and he was right. Like, if you're the NFL, you got to give the ref a call and be like, hey, man, what are you doing out there? Now, it didn't matter because the Cowboys scored on that drive, but that's just the ref making the game about himself, and that's not okay. Troy Daniels, what are the chances we can get rid of Maher and Jones and bring in Case Redford and free up one spot for another backup offensive lineman? I think they're fine on the O-line. They still have 11 bodies up there, or 10 bodies there. They're in good shape there. Casey Redford's not the answer to your problems. We saw Casey Redford in the preseason and in practice before the year began. He wasn't that good. Redford's not the answer there. Now, I don't think Chris Jones has been very good either, but Redford came in as more of a camp leg and didn't really do much beyond that, so I don't think that's the solution there. Kevin Cobb wants to know, hey, Tom, how's your kicking leg? Bad. I am not a kicker. I was not even a good soccer player. I was a decent goalie. That's what I did. You do not want me as the kicker. Like, in terms of, like, powering the positions you want me at, kicker's actually probably down there pretty far, which is crazy because it's a kicker. It's crazy, you know? All right, guys, make sure you're subscribed to your like. I know Kevin is. It was a funny comment. I appreciate it. We got highlights, grades. That's when they win, I guess. Film studies, news, mailbags like we're doing right now, rumors, all the content you want here on the Dallas Cowboys. It's youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Make sure you subscribe. We know that 2/3 of you watch the show but aren't subscribed. It's so weird to me. You keep coming in, but you don't subscribe. Well, go ahead and do that. youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. All right, Chef Boyardee Jr. Toilolo. What's most likely to happen first this season? Dak getting paid or Garrett getting fired? Okay, I'll answer with kind of a cheeky not answer. But if one of them happens in the season, it's Dak Prescott. If nothing happens until after the season, I'm going to go with Jason Garrett getting fired. Because the expectations are still Super Bowl or NFC Championship or bust for Garrett. All right, Kyle, been following us for 5 weeks. Thank you very much, Kyle. I appreciate that. What are the chances the Cowboys fire Jason Garrett if we lose to the Jets? Jerry Jones does not want to fire Jason Garrett. But if they lose to the Jets, I promise you, I will be at the front of the line screaming for Jason Garrett's head along with everybody watching. Because if you can't beat the Jets, you got problems. And at that point, that will have been 3 straight weeks where the Cowboys forgot to show up. Now, yeah, they rallied in the fourth quarter. They played hard for Garrett after that. But that's 3 games in a row, in theory, of course, where they did not do their jobs. That's on the head coach. It means they've been, in the words of Dak Prescott, smelling their own farts a little bit too much. They think they're hot stuff. But for 3 weeks in a row there, that's bad. If they lose to the Jets, Troy Daniels, I agree. Boycott. Don't pay attention, except, of course, to us here at the Cowboys Report. But at that point, you got to fire Garrett. There's no way around it. All right, Jobert Lusant. Do you think the return and ability of Tyrone Crawford playing on the inside more snaps helps us to limit the runs? Let me double-check the numbers, though, in terms of what Crawford played this past week on the interior. I think it helps. I think he is a better run stopper than Malik Collins, but he only played 23 snaps last week, and a lot of those came on pass downs. Now, the majority of them, in fact, almost all of them, came on the interior, and that's certainly helpful, but 23 snaps, 8 on run defense, 15 on the pass rush there. I've always liked him more at defensive tackle, but I think it's fairly equal. But the Cowboys right now are using him as, because he's coming off the hip injury, more of a third down rotational rusher. I wouldn't mind him more on rundowns at defensive end. That could be an option too if you want to go Crawford, on obvious like first downs even, especially if you want to maybe limit some guys' snaps. Crawford, Woods, another defensive tackle. Covington? I don't know. But you got to stop the run. It's killing you right now. That's a big concern for me. I understand why everyone else is concerned there too. All right, guys, get rid of commercials during major games with the My TV Choice app. Download the app. It's free to download, chatsports.com/mytv. It knows when commercials comes on. It'll send it right to your smart television from the app, by the way. And instead of crappy commercials, you get awesome chat sports content sent right to your phone. It's or to your TV. Chatsports.com/mytv. Go download it today. Joseph, God damn it. I'm not answering this one. Find the new question. I'm not answering it. The answer is no. No, it's not. All right, Gary's saying, so I want this off screen. Appeared like after Garrett got the unsportsmanlike flag, it fired up the boys somewhat. Do we need more fire from the coaching staff? It definitely did fire him up. Kris Richard, for example, definitely has the fire. The scheme has not been the best here, unfortunately, at least of late. Garrett is not a rah, yelling, screaming on the sideline guy. He's much more even. He is a mellow, even-tempered guy there. But I certainly wouldn't mind it. Maybe a little bit more rah would help early on in games. It hasn't been a great start so far for the Cowboys. All right, Etch Family Guy. Is it me or since Sean Lee has been back, our run D has been bad, including last year's Rams game? Well, there was the Colts game. They couldn't stop the run either. Yes, the run game has been bad, but you can't assign the blame here to Sean Lee. I think that is a classic example of correlation does not equal causation. Like Sean Lee, he hasn't played a ton this year. He's averaging about 20 snaps a game. That's not very much. Now, he was not great against the Packers. Thought he played too much, but I think it has more to do with the interior and your main linebackers, LV and Jalen, than it has been Sean Lee. All right, Joshua Rodriguez, do you think Dak should run more? I would like it. I'd like to see a little bit more read option. The last game, kind of tossed it out the window because you weren't going to run Dak Prescott there. You had to throw the ball a lot. The Saints game, though, too conservative. I do want to see more runs from Dak Prescott. Not too many runs, but keep that threat there alive. Oscar Holly, do you think that Zeke will explode soon? Seems as if he hasn't really shown up since signing that big contract. I thought he was great against the Dolphins, but it's the Dolphins. He didn't have any room to run against the Saints, and had the game script been different, I was talking to a Packers fan friend of mine. He and I are both in agreement here. Zeke would have ran for 150 had the Cowboys been up in that game. He was running all over them. It's just the game script got so out of hand, they had to throw it. So I'm not too worried about Zeke right now. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. That's actually up over what he did in 2017 even. So I'm not too concerned yet, but he'll break out soon, I think. Maybe against the Jets. Stevie Mack, if the defense continues playing like this, do you think it's time to move on from Marinelli and Richard? If the defense keeps playing like this, the Cowboys are not going to make a push in the playoffs. And if that happens, Jason Garrett's out and somebody else comes in, I target Lincoln Riley first and foremost. And in that case, I say, Lincoln, we'll give you some advice here, but we're not going to make you keep any coaches that you don't want. And if that means Marinelli and Richard leave, it is what it is. Now, a shorter show today, I know. So if we did not get to your questions, I'm sorry. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. Send me any ones you did not get. Be it today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I will try to get to them. I'm on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, so hit me up with all your Cowboys questions. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.